There is so much Mortal Kombat 1 news to cover today, which has me very excited. So if you love staying up to date on Mortal Kombat 1, then make sure to subscribe and ring that bell down below if you haven't already. That way you never miss any of my future videos. Now without any further ado, let's get started. First up, let's talk about Sindel. This character is name dropped multiple times in Mortal Kombat 1 during the character intros, which by the way, these intro dialogues are actually a loading screen. How clever is that? If you play as Kitana, then she will name drop Queen Sindel, so it looks like in this current timeline, Sindel is still alive, which makes sense because this timeline was crafted by Liu Kang. And since he's in love with Kitana, it would make sense that he'd want to keep her mother alive.
I fight like my mother.
However, does this mean that Sindel will be playable in the game? I'm not entirely sure, but I think at the very least we're going to see her in the cutscenes. And then if this game does in fact have a conquest mode, I think it's very likely we can talk to and interact with Sindel as well. And some players got really excited when they saw this image right here, because in the background you can see a figure sitting on the throne. And so of course everybody assumed this was Sindel, but after having a closer look, I think this is actually Mileena. And that's because Sindel has bright white hair, but this figure in the background has dark hair, so I'm pretty sure it's Mileena. And that would make sense because we already know that Mileena is queen. She's sitting on the throne. We heard her say it in the gameplay trailer.
I only want what's best for you.
Or do you secretly covet my throne?
And it turns out that's a perfect segue for the next topic. Queen Mileena had players excited and confused because on the one hand, we've never had Mileena as the actual queen of Edenia, which had everybody excited because it's new. However, at the same time, other players were scratching their head because if Liu Kang made this new timeline, why on earth would he have Kitana be second to Mileena? In fact, why would any sensible person with deity-like powers put Mileena in charge? It just sounds kind of crazy. Well, it turns out we got the answer to all of these questions during Ed Boon's interview, albeit indirectly. It turns out this stage on screen that everybody thought was Edenia, myself included, is actually Outworld. That's right, this stage adorned in Mileena's colors is actually Outworld, which implies that Mileena is the queen of Outworld and not Edenia. So that answers every single question. The reason Kitana is not queen is because Sindel is still alive. She is still queen of Edenia. However, Mileena is the queen of Outworld, and it could be she's ruling alone, but hear me out on this. I think it's very possible that Mileena is married to Reiko. And I know this sounds like a far-fetched theory, but hear me out, because I had this epiphany, this revelation during the Kombat Kings podcast, when all of us were rewatching the trailer and breaking it down in crazy, excruciating detail. And at one point during the gameplay trailer, Goro shows up, and me and Snake lamented that Goro does not have his classic design, which left us both feeling a bit disappointed because other characters like Jax and Sonya get their classic skins to come back, but for some reason Goro has a brand new outfit, and that's when it hit me. I looked closely at this outfit, and the armor that Goro is wearing is Reiko's armor, 100%, down to the last bit of detail. I know some naysayers in the comments are gonna type, no, that's Shao Kahn's armor. Nah, okay? There's a distinct difference between Reiko and Shao Kahn's armor, and the main difference is how they connect at the middle. That is clearly the exact same shoulder armor that Reiko wears, but Goro is using it, which means that Goro is serving under Reiko. So at the very least, Reiko is back as a general. But once again, keep in mind, this is Liu Kang's new timeline. Do you really think he is going to let Shao Kahn be in control? I really don't. So once again, I think Reiko is king of Outworld, and to take it a step further with one last piece of evidence, in the Mortal Kombat comics, the NetherRealm writers have paired Mileena and Reiko up before. So I'm just saying, this relationship has precedent. It's very likely that Mileena is married to Reiko, or at the very least, he's a general. So I guess my point is, get excited because it's very likely that Reiko is back as a fully playable character. In fact, just this morning, I watched a video from your boy Brusque Poet, shoutouts to him, make sure you subscribe, because Ed Boon himself replied to Brusque Poet on Twitter. And that's a big deal because this tweet was saying bring back the 3D era characters, and this tweet showed Li Mei, Reiko, Havoc, and Natara, my absolute favorite character. I got fingers crossed that she's coming back, but no word on that yet. And I'm getting a bit off topic. My main point is this. Ed Boon is acting very excited at the idea of 3D era characters coming back, specifically the characters shown in Brusque Poet's tweet. So get excited, because that's just one more piece of evidence that shows Reiko is very likely coming back. At the very least, he is going to be in the cutscenes and possibly a conquest mode, but I would bet money he's going to be fully playable. And if you're a big Shao Kahn fan, please don't freak out, because because it's very likely he's coming back as well, at least as a cameo fighter. But then on top of that, if you listen closely during the Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay, the announcer very clearly sounds like Shao Kahn, and this could imply that Shao Kahn is back in Mortal Kombat 1. However, at the same time, I'm pretty sure Shao Kahn was the announcer in Mortal Kombat X as well, despite the fact that he was absolutely dead at that point in the story. So I guess my point is, Shao Kahn is always the announcer no matter what, because his voice is so iconic. But then again, fingers crossed, because I think that voice might actually belong to Onaga. And I have no evidence for this whatsoever. I just think that Onaga would be the best villain to bring back, and it's been enough time. The fans have waited long enough. Onaga is a fan favorite character, we want him to come back, and it's been over 20 years since we fought against him. Bring back the Dragon King, please NetherRealm, please Ed Boon, bring him back somehow, at least as DLC, but I think he would be perfect as a final boss or even a secret boss. And believe it or not, I'm still not done with the character reveals, because guess who else gets name dropped during the Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay? Your girl Jade. That's right, Jade is back from Mortal Kombat 1. Now will she be fully playable? I'm not sure, because as of now she's just in an intro dialogue. And interestingly enough, Liu Kang refers to her as a countess.
Keep Countess Jade close. She is critical to your future.
Is it possible you could be more cryptic?
So it looks like Jade is no longer a bodyguard, she's been promoted to a countess, which is very interesting. Let me know in the comments down below, do you think Jade is going to be fully playable since she's no longer a bodyguard and a countess, which is a political position? For me personally, I still think it's very possible that Jade could be a fully playable character, but I don't know, I'd say it's 50-50, it's a coin toss at this point. So far, no other character mentions Jade aside from Liu Kang, which I find interesting. At the very least, I want to see what her new design is. Even if she's not fully playable, I'm such a sucker for costume design and I want to see what Jade looks like. I'm excited. And now finally, let's talk about Sub-Zero and Scorpion, because I've seen some confusion in the comment section and also in the Mortal Kombat community. Because during an interview, Ed Boon has said that Scorpion and Sub-Zero are brothers in this new timeline. And some players think this means that they are brothers in arms. In other words, they are allies, they're both part of the Lin Kuei, but they're not biologically related. However, I think it's the opposite. I really do believe that Ed Boon was being literal, because otherwise there's no reason to mention that. Who cares if they're allies? He called them brothers specifically. I truly do believe that Sub-Zero and Scorpion are biological brothers in this new timeline, and in fact I've even seen screenshots floating around of their faces, and yeah, they look identical. They're definitely brothers. And in fact, I would bet money that Bi-Han is the older brother, because typically that's how it's worked in all the past games. He's always the older brother, which would mean in this game that Scorpion is the younger brother, and we kind of see that when Lord Liu Kang shows up. Scorpion goes, oh master, Lord Liu Kang, whereas Sub-Zero just stands there kind of stoically like a badass. So that's just one more reason I think Sub-Zero is the big brother to Scorpion in this game. But I could be wrong, maybe they're twins, maybe Scorpion's the older brother. But once again, since Bi-Han was the older brother in all of the games to a younger Sub-Zero, I think it makes sense this time that he's the older brother to Scorpion, which sadly does mean it's very unlikely that Kuai Liang even exists in this timeline. Maybe he's somebody else's sibling, living a happy and peaceful life by himself. I think that would fit his character very much. But who knows, it's very possible that Kuai Liang could be a third brother that's off screen and we just haven't seen him yet. And you know what, for a special treat, I want to end this video with a fun theory that I've concocted in my head. In the past games, it's always been Sub-Zero who gets killed by Scorpion and then comes back as Noob Saibot. However, this time, I think it's gonna play out in the opposite way, because in this game, Scorpion is not dead yet, and he seems to be the younger sibling, and unfortunately, just like in every past game, Bi-Han has a bit of darkness about him. He seems a bit evil in these intro dialogues. He's fighting for his own purposes.
Your actions cost lives, Bi-Han.
They were in the Lin Kuei's best interests.
So here's the theory. I think it's very likely that Bi-Han turns evil and Scorpion tries to stop him, and in their fight, Bi-Han kills Scorpion. It might be on accident, it might be on purpose, but I think Hanzo is going to die and then come back as the undead version of Scorpion that we all know and love. But here's the craziest part. I think undead Scorpion is going to split off from the Lin Kuei and form the Shirai Ryu. How crazy would that be to turn the story on its head. This time Sub-Zero kills Scorpion, and when he comes back, he's the one that splits off the clan instead of Takeda many generations prior. I think that would be extremely interesting, but it's just a theory. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And then while you're down there, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And finally, finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell, that way you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.